Hi, pals. Okay, this is gonna be, I think this is episode 7 of the Knitting Podcast, and I'm just gonna do like a chatty little get to know you episode because I personally, after I've been watching someone's YouTube channel for a little bit, and I do have like a bunch of knitters that I follow on YouTube and that I like regularly keep up with, I really love like any insight into their life, like their personal life. I just think it's so fun. So I'm just gonna do like a chatty little get to know you episode while I finish the twisted rib on the bottom of the body of my babaa vest dupe. Okay, I haven't even talked about this here because literally last Tuesday, just on a whim, I decided I was gonna cast on my tailor vest, which as you all know, is the pattern that I'm using for my babaa vest number 75 dupe, okay? And I just decided that I was like, it's starting to get warmer here in California. I'm on the central coast of California. So I just decided like, I'm gonna see if I can knit this in a week. So I only cast on Tuesday night. So I'm giving myself from Wednesday to Wednesday. Right now is Sunday. I've finished both of the armholes and I'm doing the ribbing on the body. I just have like the center ribbing and like the button band and to attach the buttons. And I have 3 days still, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So like, I think I'm gonna do it, you guys. And okay, I've been like sharing the progress on Instagram. And I asked in my stories, I was like, this was on Friday, because I take the weekend off of social media. On Friday, before I was off, I asked, like, I did a poll in my stories. I'm like, do you think that I can do this by Wednesday? Because I only had like half of the body done and none of the armholes. And there were like 10, like almost everyone said, yes, like you got this. Some people said maybe. And then there was like 10 or 15 people that said no, like doubtful. And I'm like, well, now I have to do it because the people said that. So anyways, I'm thinking that I'm totally going to do it. I'm using the tailor vest pattern by Ginger and Time. And the yarn I'm using is Briggs and Little Heritage in sheep's gray. The body is done on 5mm needles, and then now I'm doing the twisted rib in, let's see, nope, not on that one, 3.75mm, because it's ribbing done flat and I hate the way my ribbing looks done flat. I have been really trying and like practicing tightening my purl stitches because I'm just kind of bothered that my gauge is so loose. And I think that like it's tricky because I do have like a following on social media and I have, I'm sharing my knitting on YouTube. And I think it's frustrating for people because a lot of the reason why I achieve the look that I do with my knits is because my gauge is so loose. And I think that that's really annoying to people because it's hard to recreate. I don't know. So anyways, I'm just trying to like better myself as a knitter. And on this project specifically, I really worked on like tightening up you can see at the top is like looser, but down here, I really worked on like tightening up my purl stitches. So it's not like rowing out at all and whatever. So we'll see. I don't know if it actually will be any different than my normal knitting, but I'm just working on that. And I've also started, this is like so random. I've also started adding like a little loop around my finger for tensioning. Typically, I don't have any loop. I just go like this and I hold the yarn down here with like my middle finger, but I've been doing a little tension loop with my middle finger and I think that's been helping. So I don't know, here's to learning and growing. I've been knitting for 10 years now and I've never tried to like change anything about my knitting, but now I'm just trying to like tighten it up just a little bit so it's not so loose, Okay, anyways, so I'm just gonna be working on this. I have about, I think like 3 or 4 more rows of this and then the Italian bind off, but I'm just gonna share a little bit about myself in case anyone wants to know. And if you don't really care, that's okay too. You can skip this episode. I do want to share a little bit about other projects that I'm working on. I literally have not worked on a single other project this whole week, which is so unlike me. And it also has me wondering, why did I do this? Like, why did I put this challenge on myself? But the people are really invested on Instagram and TikTok. So you know what? I'm just going for it. I just do kind of miss my method of like doing lots of different projects at a time. And I'm really excited to get back to like the other things that I have going on. Anyways, okay. So, my name is Hannah. I was born and raised in Minnesota. I love Minnesota with all my heart, and anytime I get to go back there is so special. Now I live in California. When I was 16, I was going into my junior year of high school. My family moved out to the Bay Area of California. My dad got a job in San Francisco. So we moved out and we lived in the East Bay. And that's where I finished my high school career, junior and senior year. And it was hard. It was kind of a culture shock because we lived in a really small town in Minnesota. Minnesota is different than like a big city. I mean, most of Minnesota. I know there are like the Twin Cities in Minnesota, but a lot of Minnesota, I would say, is different than like the Bay Area of San Francisco, you know? I have 2 sisters. I'm the oldest of 3 girls. My sister Mallory is 4 years younger than me, and my sister Kirsten is 6 years younger than me. They both live on the East Coast with their families, and I miss them so much. If you follow my Substack, I have shared on there about how that's a really hard thing for me to live so far away from my sisters, and for them to be like both like having families and knowing that we probably will not ever live in the same place. That's really sad and really hard. And it's something that is a continual, like, slow grieving process for me. And I just love them so much. And I'm like, we used to like live in the same house, like literally down the hall from each other. I didn't like them this much, you know? I didn't like them as much as I like them now, and like wish that I could just be with them. It's just, I don't know, siblings, it's a different level of like understanding, you know? They grew up in the same house as you, and I don't know. I just love them a lot and I miss them. We keep up on Marco Polo though. There's that. And I'm so thankful for technology. Let's see, what else? My parents still live in the East Bay. They're thankfully only about 4 hours away from us, 4.5. We live on the central coast of California near San Luis Obispo. And I think the central coast of California is the best part. We have so many super nice beaches, but we do not have the crowds of like the really nice beaches in the LA area, like Malibu and all that area. We do not have the crowds. Like, you could get a beach to yourself here, like completely to yourself with maybe one other family on it. Like, that happens very often. We have amazing hikes. We have Big Sur really close to us. We have lots of good, like, small businesses here. And I just think the Central Coast is the best. The weather is amazing. My dad always says that we have the best weather. Typically, our weather ranges from like 65 to 75 year round, except for in the winter when sometimes it gets colder than that. Like right now, we had like 3 weeks where it was like high of like 55, and now we're back to like 70-degree weather, which is, it just like kind of baffles me. After growing up in Minnesota, and like we get snow every winter in Minnesota. I love the seasons. That's something that I do really miss as well. But it's so wild to like have it be, we were at the beach this week, the second week of January, we were at the beach, it was almost 80 degrees. It's just like so wild. I met my husband in a gap year program when we were both 18, and we started dating after that. And we've been together since we were 19, and we're now 35. Known him a long time. He's great. His name is Zach. He's really fun, and he supports my hobbies, which means so much, you know, as like someone with a lot of hobbies. He's really sweet. We're besties, and that's not to say that our marriage has always been easy by any means, but I am so grateful for him, and I am so grateful for a person to like grow with. It's been good. It's been a lot of growing, a lot of learning, but overall, our marriage has been great. We've been married we just celebrated our 12-year anniversary in December, and we have 5 kids. So I don't know if I've ever shared on here that I am a mom of 5 children. We got pregnant literally like the minute after we got married. I'm just kidding. But we had our son, who's now 11, the month before our first anniversary, which was definitely a big surprise. It was not part of the plan, but he's the best also. He's great. My oldest is 11, and his name is Forrest. And then we have 4 girls, and they're 8, 6, 4, and 2.5. And that's it. There's not gonna be any more coming. No more. But they are great too. I love them so much. They're so much fun. It's wild. I will say it's a lot. It's busy, it's chaotic, it's loud, but there's never a dull moment, and we have a lot of fun together. And I'm feeling like, since I'm not going to be pregnant or postpartum ever again, I feel like I finally kind of like come back to myself a little bit. And now having my youngest, she's 2.5, like we can do so much more than like when I am like within a year postpartum. It's just so different. It's just so different. It's like, feels like a whole new phase. Like, we went to the beach this week, and I literally sat on the beach and knit with one of my best friends. We chatted like the whole time. The kids were just playing. No one was trying to eat sand. No one was trying to like get pummeled by a wave. And like the kids who could swim were swimming. The kids who couldn't were just playing on it was just so chill. And like a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, I could never even fathom that this was coming soon, because I was just so like in the depths of it. But like, there will come a time, you know, like if you are a new mom or you have a couple kids and, you know, one of them is a tiny baby, there will be a day when like you can shower during the day when people are awake. There will be a day when you can go to the beach and sit and everyone's playing and you don't have to get up 12,000 times. You know, like that day is coming. So there's that. I feel like I really love the season that we're in. It's crazy and busy for sure, but I'm just feeling so grateful for, you know, like we put in a lot of hard work. I mean, it's still hard work, but we've put in a lot of hard work, and I feel like to see that, like some of that hard work paying off, it just feels so sweet. And like my kids are people that I like genuinely enjoy, especially, you know, like my older kids, they are, you know, a bit more formed in their personalities and stuff. And like, we genuinely enjoy being around them. And it's just, I don't know, that feels like a really big win. So we homeschool our kids. It's like part-time homeschool. So they go to a charter school 2 days a week, and we homeschool the other 3 days. Mostly we're only homeschooling 2 days because we typically like to go to the beach or like go see friends or something on one of the days. And yeah, it's a great setup. This feels like a perfect setup for our family. For me, having 5 kids, to do full-time homeschool, which we were doing before this, it was a little bit too much. Just like, I have ADHD. I'm not on medication or anything. It's a long story, but I got like a heart issue so that I can't be on a stimulant drug. And so I'm kind of just like raw dogging it. And it's hard. I have things that I use to like help support myself, my focus, but homeschooling 3 kids at the time full time, I just felt like I'm not doing a good enough job. And this wasn't in a self-deprecating way. It was just kind of like, I need to take a really honest look and say like, I don't know that I'm equipped to full-time homeschool all the like multiple children this way. And so to have like this program that is very just kind of, it is like a supplementary program. Like, it's not meant to like replace like any like homeschool, but they do a little bit of math there. They do science and history there. And it's just like a really sweet community. And so I am in charge of like language arts and math at home. And that feels very doable with 4 kids now technically in school age. My youngest, or my 4.5-year-old, is technically in TK. She's in TK age. We do like very limited stuff with her. But I love having like the balance of them going to school 2 days a week and then them being home. And then the days that my big 3 are at school, I just have my little 2. And so we do like fun stuff like library story time, which I haven't done in years because I'm not going to take like an 11-year-old to like toddler story time at the library. So yeah, it's fun. It's just like, we're just in a really sweet season. I finally feel like I have a really good handle on everything. And not to say we don't have hard days or hard like weeks, months, whatever, because we definitely have our fair share of those. But yeah, I just am feeling so grateful and so like excited and like hopeful, and yeah, just thankful for my family and my life. And yeah, I am very big on habits. So I like have some habits that I'm like very religious about, and some that I try to be really religious about, but I'm not. I work out pretty much every day. This has become like a non-negotiable for me. Like probably 4 years ago, I've been working out just about daily for like the last almost 5 years. And this is a mental thing for sure, but also a physical thing. I'm trying to build muscle and just like, I want to be strong and healthy for years and years to come. And my grandma died of Alzheimer's a couple of years ago in 2023, December. And I know that to an extent, some of that could be considered genetic. And so I am doing everything that I can to not have that be my story. She was not like super old. Like, she died the same year that her mom died. Like, my great grandma died. My great grandma died January of 2023. And then my grandma, who was her daughter, died later that year. She was not, like, it should not have been her time. And I miss her very much. And I miss my grandpa, who died just a couple of years or a couple months after her. But yeah, so that's my thing. I really have like gone all over the place in the last, like, I don't know, 5-ish years with like how do I eat? What type of workout plan should I do? You know, I've kind of done everything. I've tried like keto, I've tried like weightlifting, Pilates, all sorts of that. I keep coming back to like a mostly animal-based diet and weightlifting. And then I just love Pilates, so I do Pilates too. But that's just what I keep coming back to. Like strength training, building muscle as much as I can. And then like I do really well on a high protein, high fat diet. And so that's what I'm sticking to. We're also going to start a running club with our kids. We were sick the first 2 weeks of New Year's. The first 2 weeks of the new year. Since New Year's Eve, we've been sick. And we're like just now, like this week, everyone's finally better. We're able to like see friends and like be out of the house. So we're going to start, our kids got running shoes for Christmas, and we're going to start a running club. So I will be adding running onto that, but moving my body is very important to me. And I don't share about it a ton on social media at all. It's just like something that I do that's really important, and that is part of my day. I'm also a really big advocate for waking up early, especially if you're a parent, waking up before your kids. I know this is not doable for everybody, but it is like a night and day difference for me personally when I do versus when I don't. And starting your day in like chaos when everyone's already awake before you is just like, that has proven for me to be very stressful, like just not it for me. So I haven't been waking up early lately, but that is typically like what I would like to be doing. I also have a Substack where I talk about like literally all sorts of things. I have a podcast on there. I talk about all sorts of life stuff and like habits and like knitting, sewing, crafty, creative stuff, making your own clothes. I like talk about like style and fashion and mom stuff and just everything that is part of my life right now. And it's been so fun, such a fun outlet. I love Substack. It's been a really special like creative thing for me. And so yeah, you can check out my Substack if you want to. Let's see what else. I have been part of multiple MLMs over the years. The first and longest was Young Living Essential Oils. And wow, like after I left that, I don't know, I just saw the light. And then I kind of joined up some other like direct sales companies just kind of as an affiliate. And I just don't know about that, you guys. I just don't know about that. I don't think it's doable for like just the average person, you know, like an influencer can be successful at selling something for sure. But like just the average person with like an average following, like 100 followers or 1,000 followers. I mean, you know, like I don't know that someone like that could be super, super successful, but I know that there's been people that prove me wrong. I have thoughts on this, and I've also had my own experience. I've also had like somewhat of a following my whole time doing direct sales. So I've been relatively successful, but I just don't know. I just don't know about that anymore. What else? I started knitting when my son was a baby. He's now 11. And I came from crochet. So I originally learned to crochet like 5 years before that. And I was just crocheting for so long. And then I realized I'm spending a lot of time trying to get my crochet stuff to look knit. Like, why don't I just learn how to knit also? So then I did. And now knitting is definitely my preferred method of fiber arts. And I love it so much. But I've been kind of doing a deep dive into why like people who come from crochet tend to have a looser tension. And almost everybody who comes from crochet learns to knit continental because they're used to holding the yarn in their left hand. I mean, I'm generalizing. That's not everyone for sure. But there's something about the way, like the mechanism of how you do the purl. It's not necessarily like something wrong with like you, but it's like the mechanism of how you have to purl when you hold the yarn in your left hand that just creates more space. Like it requires more yarn to do it. And so that's often what can lead to a very loose tension for continental knitters. And I just found that so interesting. So I've been just kind of trying. I've watched a couple videos and I've just been kind of practicing like getting my tension a little bit tighter because, I mean, I already talked about this in the beginning of the video, but I've gotten a little self-conscious about my like loose knitting when I get so many questions from people about how I got something to look a certain way and stuff. And like, yeah, I just kind of feel like maybe I'm just not a good knitter. I don't know. But everything that I knit is like exactly the way that I want it for the most part. I mean, I've definitely had my share of flops in the past, but yeah, so I'm just kind of trying to grow a little bit there. I've been sewing for the last 4 years. I learned how to sew when I was postpartum with my 4th child, who is now 4.5. And I love sewing as well. It feels like the perfect thing to complement knitting my own garments because it's so much faster. But I feel like the precision that I need in knitting has really helped in sewing. I love sewing so much. It's so fun to create a garment that's so specific to you, your exact size, your exact measurements. And that did wonders for my body image when I learned how to sew because I wasn't having to, I mean, I still have some store-bought clothes for sure, lots of store-bought clothes, but it was so special to be able to make a garment exactly to myself and not feel like whatever sort of feelings about like the size that I have to buy or whatever. You know, I don't know. That just did so much for me. And I'm like, this garment fits my body right now as it is. And I don't know, I just love sewing so much. I'm hoping to like have some more sewing content eventually. But it's the tricky thing for me is filming. I'm just not the best at like filming like vlog style stuff. It's just a little tricky for me when I'm mostly just fitting my hobbies in like little pockets throughout the day because I'm with my kids all the time, you know? Right now, my youngest is napping and then my husband is at the movies with my 4 oldest. So I have the house myself right now. So it's like, it's easy for me to film right now. But people have asked for like vlog style stuff. I'm like, I just don't know that will ever be a regular thing. Not that will never happen because it might, but I just don't know if you should count on that. Let's see here. I'm really proud of this. I'm really excited about this vest. And I'm so glad that I'm getting it done now so I have a little bit of time to wear it before winter is like over. My next projects, well, I have 2 projects on the needles that I shared about last week that I'm like actively working on as soon as I get done with this vest. And that is my matcha green Sonia sweater. I love this one so much. I can't wait to wear it. I am using Wooldreamers Mota in this perfect sagey green. I'll put the official number. I'm forgetting it off the top of my head, but this is like the perfect green. I love it so much. That's one of my projects. And then my other project is my speckly Lakes pullover with the 3 stash yarns that I'm holding. It is just like the most gorgeous fabric. It is so pretty and so fun. And like, it feels like it's got a little bit of weight to it because it's 3 yarns. It's, let's see, Blue Sky Fibers woolstok and Knitting for Olive cotton merino. And then the tweed is the Rico Designs Make It tweed. And yeah, it's so pretty. And it feels like when I try it on, it's like, it feels a little bit heavy. And it's like, oh, it feels so good. So those are I'm really excited to continue on those as soon as I'm done with this vest. And then, hold on. Okay. And then I have 2 other projects that I'm going to be starting very soon. I am doing another test knit. You guys, literally the day after I finished my test knit. Oh, wait, I finished my wild cardigan. I got to show you guys that. Hold on. Okay. So I I'm so proud of this. I am seriously so proud of this project, you guys. It's not, I'll put a picture of me like wearing it, like a full body photo, but I finished this like a couple days before the test period ended. And this is one of my favorite things that I've ever knit. It is, I'm so proud of this. This was such a hard project for me and such a labor of love. I'm so glad that it's done. And I don't think I'll ever knit cable cardigan, at least not in the foreseeable future. And then I also was like, yeah, I'm never going to test knit again. But I finished this, and then a friend or someone on Instagram sent me a video of someone who was a brand new designer looking for testers for their new design, which is a babaa pullover. Wait, what's it called? Babaa jumper number 51 dupe. It's like she literally designed it to be exactly like the actual babaa sweater. And she was like looking for a new, she needed like testers, and she's like got a smaller following, whatever. Her name is Briggs. I think I'm pronouncing that correct. And her pattern is called the structured sweater, and it looks exactly like babaa number 51. And so I was like, because she's a brand new designer and she needs testers, and because this exact like dupe is on my list, my queue, okay? And because it's knit on thicker yarn, so it's knit with a thicker version of Heritage, Briggs & Little Heritage. It's knit with Atlantic. This will be the color that I'm doing in, I think. I actually made gauge with Heritage, which is a thinner gauge, but since then I've like tried to tighten up my gauge a little bit, so I'm gonna have to see. But I'm either doing it in this color, which is sheep's gray, which is the same exact yarn that I'm doing my vest in. So I'm like, I don't know if I want to have two things in exactly the same color. I don't know. Or the Atlantic that I ordered is in this color, which is just the light gray. So I don't know if you want a comparison. Sheep's gray is a little more beigey. Light gray is a little more cool toned. Okay, so there's that. So that I'm either gonna do this or this. I'm leaning towards this because I have the Atlantic coming. So it's a chunkier yarn and it's all stockinette. So I'm like, this will just be like a quicker project. So that's why I'm doing another test. Don't mind me. But also the test window is till the end of March. I literally have like 2 months to do it, and I could finish that easily in a couple weeks, especially after doing a whole garment in less than a week, you know, like I could do it. So I have those, but I also have this color, fawn. I have a lot of Briggs & Little Heritage, and I do have a mohair to hold with this to like maybe bulk it up a smidge if I wanted to. This is the Heritage. So anyways, I have some options, but then the other thing I'm super excited to cast on is my Norma sweater. So I shared about like my plans for the Norma sweater. I'm going to do it. This is going to be the main color. This is the light gray and the Briggs & Little Heritage. And then these are going to be the contrast colors, black and cream. Really excited to do that. I think I'm probably going to, once I finish the body ribbing today, I'm going to make my swatch for this and block it just to make sure I have gauge and whatever. So I'm really excited to cast those things on. And then I think I'm probably going to start working on some like warmer weather clothing, which it's always a little bit sad to like know that the cold weather clothing season is over. I don't know. I love summer. I love summer so much, and spring, like with all my heart. So that's not the issue. But just to know that like the hobby that takes up so much of my mind and my heart and my time is like, I should be living in a different state with a different climate, I fear. So yeah, it's just a little sad to me to know that like all my special hand knits will not be getting as much use soon. And the switch from like cold weather knitting to warm weather knitting, I just don't love warm weather knitting like a ton. I just don't, it doesn't call to me as much as cold weather knitting, if that makes sense. So anyways, I'm gonna wrap this up here because I've been real chatty, but I hope that this was interesting. I don't know. I am, yeah, I just wanted to share a little bit about my life outside of knitting, even though knitting is intertwined in like every part of my life because I bring it everywhere. Literally just brought this to church this morning, and I knit through every sermon at church. I knit on the way there, I knit on the way back. It's always part of me, and I just love it so much. And it really does help me. Like, I don't know if this is the case for anyone else, but when I switched from like being on my phone all the time to just like carrying knitting with me everywhere, I feel like I got like a whole new level of presence, okay? Because now, if I don't have something to do with my hands, I mean, I would typically just pick up my phone, but now if I just like will pick up my knitting, and I'll just be like knitting while my kids are finishing their school, or like while they're playing outside or in their room or in the living room or whatever. Like I just have my knitting. I'm still like an active participant in my surroundings, but I'm like working on something, like I'm being productive with my hands, you know? And it really has offered me a like new level of presence with my kids, when typically if I didn't have anything to do, I would just pull out my phone and start scrolling or create something on Instagram or whatever. Which, I mean, it's not all bad, but for me it was. It was like I was distanced and I was checked out. And so knitting has just kind of given me back that presence. And like same with, you know, taking it to like church, or I'll take it to like girls' night or whatever. I can be so much more of like an active listener when I'm like working with my hands. I don't know if that's like an ADHD thing or what, but it's like the conversations that I have are so much better. I'm able to retain so much more information when I'm like listening to the sermon, or if I'm listening to like a podcast or something. It's like, I don't know, it's just really like made every aspect of my life better. And I'm just so grateful for it. It becomes so special to me. So anyways, I hope this was interesting, hearing a little bit more about me. I'll just share a couple more facts. Our family is a soccer family. My husband coaches a club team for my son, my 11-year-old, and it has been so wonderful for them to have this outlet together, and it's just been so great. I know people have mixed feelings on organized sports, but like for us, it's only been like a wonderful experience. We have our last like big tournament coming up at the end of the month, and then we are taking a little bit of a break. But club soccer, at least where we live, club soccer is year round. And so they typically will take the spring off, and then like summer and fall, they do practices, and we join like a smaller league in our town to do like some games on Saturdays. And then we join some bigger tournaments in like fall and winter, and I don't know, it's just been fun. It's really fun. And my son is like really good. He's really good at soccer. He's obsessed with soccer, and he's also like very talented at it. He's been playing since he was like 4.5. I don't necessarily recommend that, but that's just how we did it. For the rest, like after that with him, we changed, so we don't do sports until kids reach age 7, and then they can kind of take like ownership of it. And it's actually been perfect, because we did do like a season of soccer for my girlies when they were 3 and 5, and my 3-year-old, 3 years old, maybe they were 4 and 6. She just cried the whole time. She didn't want to do it. We couldn't get her to go on the field during game days, and she just wanted to be with her big sister, and they just couldn't take it seriously. So then last year, my now 8-year-old, she was 7, then she got to do her own like AYSO soccer, and it was great. She took it seriously. She loved it. She had so much fun. So that's how we do it now. But yeah, we're a soccer family. Our kids don't have to do soccer. We ask them if they would like to do a sport. If they want to do soccer, we offer what we can offer, and then they are able to say yes or choose something else or whatever. But we do love soccer in this house, I will say. I was diagnosed with ADHD 2 years ago now, I think. And that was kind of life-changing for me, after like a lifetime of like shame over certain things, not being able to finish stuff, just not being able to prioritize correctly. That was a little bit life-changing for me. That was a big like turning point for me. And I do have my struggles for sure, but I also have a lot of strengths because of it. So I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining at all. It's so nice to know like that is how my brain works. My suspicions of how my brain works, they were correct. And so it was just so validating, and also made me a little bit sad for like elementary age me, because I just felt so much shame over a lot of things having to do with school and stuff. And I was never like the hyperactive like child in school. That was never me. I was a very good listener. I was very like respectful, and like I was a people pleaser. That's what I was. But yeah, it manifested itself in a lot of different ways, which is very common for girls, because it manifests itself differently in girls and boys. So anyways, there's that. I have some very, very good friends here where we live, and I'm so grateful for them. And also, like, it took a lot of years to like grow a community and like build close relationships with people. I mean, you always think that, like, I don't know, like you hear about like the village and stuff, but I think that it's what's not talked about a lot is like building the village and like building that community up, and how it doesn't just happen overnight. Like, you can't just say like, I want a village, and then like you have one. Like, it just takes a lot of time and like just togetherness. And yeah, but I'm just so grateful. I remember after I had Frankie, my 4th child, we had like a home birth, and it was like amazing and wonderful. And then 2 days later, I had to have emergency surgery to get my gallbladder removed, which was completely unrelated from the birth, but it was like a hormone thing. It's actually very common for women who are pregnant or like newly postpartum to have issues with that because of like estrogen and various hormones and stuff. So I had to have emergency surgery, and I just remember feeling so taken care of. So neither my parents nor Zach's parents could come and help us. And we literally had 3 kids, a brand new newborn, and I had just had surgery that was completely unforeseen. And we were struggling so hard, but neither of our parents could like come help. It was a very, very hard time. But I remember just feeling so like held and seen by like our community. We had people bringing us meals, bringing us like dinner with also like a breakfast that we could heat up the next day, and like activities for our kids, and taking our kids to like the park for us so that we could just rest, and just so many wild acts of like service. And like it just spoke volumes to me. It was just so sweet, and it made me think that like I spent a lot of years being lonely and like feeling like I don't have anyone, and now I'm looking back, we've been here since we got married 12 years ago now, just thinking like, it's just so incredible to see how this has like grown. And I don't know, this is, yeah, just so grateful. Okay, I think I got to check the babaa picture again to see how many rows of ribbing I need to do. But I think that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think that 8 is right. I think I can do the Italian bind off. I actually really love doing Italian bind off. It was kind of a chore for me because I was used to doing, like when I first learned, it was kind of a chore because I was used to just doing like the where you lift one stitch over the other, you know. But I actually really like it now, and I love the way that it looks. So I think I'm gonna bind off. I gotta check the photo one more time, but I'm gonna wrap this up. Thank you for watching. I thought that this was gonna be like 20 minutes, but it's a little bit longer than that. Yeah, okay, thanks for being here. I hope this was interesting. Just let me know what you wanna see from me, okay? Let me know, it helps me so much. I am toying around with the idea of doing a vloggy style something or another in the near future. So we will see about that, but thank you for being here, and I will talk to you later. Bye.